And hello. Hello. This is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks, and
This is James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James, and I'll be handling the chat tonight. So please chat with us, and I'll pass it on over to Beth, and she will talk to you directly live.
yeah, it's really fun when you come during the show live because then you can talk to me and I can answer you live and but even if you don't, you can always leave me a comment and I will respond later.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the Granny Rocks show where I pretend to have some wit and wisdom and I do play the piano. And did you introduce yourself? I don't even remember.
Oh, yes, I did. And we air every Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And she doesn't just pretend. I think she has a lot of uncommon sense.
So, welcome. This is our last show before New Year's. And we are thrilled to be with you tonight. And we have a lot to share because tonight I'm going to talk about, and we're going to talk about, why are so many people negative?
Yeah.
If you want to call that playing the piano. So, and a lot of people are negative. I mean, have you noticed that? It's like complaining or angry or distressed
Or fearful.
fearful or whatever.
We have a comment already.
Hello.
From Amy. Hi, you two. I love your bright colors, especially nice given this particular topic that you said to Art of Love.
Oh, that's right. So there are a lot of reasons that people are negative, and I think that we just kind of assume that people are going to be negative because it's so common. So maybe we don't always look deeply enough into why that is.
And we have some more comments.
Yeah.
Nick says, glad I can watch. Glad you could be with us, Nick.
So happy to see you tonight.
And Elizabeth says, hello there, and sends a caring image.
Oh,
Thank you.
see, caring is kind of the opposite of negative, isn't it? So negative. I think we all know what negative looks like, feels like, is like. So the first thing I want to say about why people are negative, so many, is that a lot of people don't feel well.
Mm.
I mean, let's start with the basics, right? Something
Okay.
very simple. Like you wake up, you've got a headache, you have a migraine, you got a stomach ache, your back hurts, you're tired, your feet hurt.
Or you having to do something you don't want to do, like go to school.
Okay, but wait. First, I want to start
Just
with.
the physical.
I just
the
want to start with not
physical.
feeling well, or it could be emotional. You know that you don't feel well. You're having deep emotional issues, and you just don't have it. You know what I mean? It's hard to go when you're feeling. So there it is. It's hard to pretend. Some people do pretend, but underneath they're the kind of. Ugh. Or so not feeling well is really important. Now, another thing that makes people negative is lousy circumstances. Now,
Oh, and we have another one here. Richard says, good evening, Beth and James. And he
Good-
sends a nice smile and a cool guy.
very cool.
Thank you, Richard.
Good evening to you, Richard. So first I've talked about how sometimes we are negative because we just don't feel well. And then sometimes we're negative because our circumstances are really kind of crappy.
And Catalina sends a face that's full of smiles and love. Thank you, Catalina.
I mean, I don't care what you say. It is much easier to be positive and happy when you're feeling well and you're in the meadow and it's perfect temperature rather than when you're freezing cold or you're stifling hot or you're working in a place with no air conditioning. I remember I worked in a place where the office was right above the factory, the
Oh.
plastics factory. Poor people who worked in the factory, and it was so hot in the summer that some of the workers they took eggs and they put them on top of the roof to prove how hot it was, and that
To fry the eggs,
to
did it?
fry the eggs. Yes. So or you have a mean boss, or you have an abusive spouse, or you have abusive parents, or you're not getting your needs taken care of, and all of that. It's like, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to be hee 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 hee. It's very difficult not to be negative when the circumstances of your life totally suck. Don't you think?
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. Very good
So
point.
sometimes, when you meet people who seem very negative and on the outside, you think, well, what's their problem? Well, maybe you don't know what their problems are. You don't know that they have health issues, or you don't know that they're being abused at home, or raped, or God knows what. You know what I mean? So, or just being subjected to a lot of negativity. So that makes people negative.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
I think we grow up in a society that is predominantly negative. People are predominantly worried and feeling insecure. We get it from our parents coming up. There's a lot of this is this win-lose syndrome of competition, where if you're not winning, you're losing. You're feeling bad about yourself or bad about losing. Or if you're winning, what is it costing you to win? All that anxiety and stress and pressure to achieve, and so you're uptight, you're anxious, either way. So you got a whole society that's built around competition, the win-lose syndrome, and a lot of unhappy people. And then you got parents that are continually worrying about this and that and the other, and upset about this and that and the other.
Absolutely. And then you look in the news, and how can you not feel negative? Oh, this one, a tornado, there's a hurricane.
Or the politics.
Or the politics, or, some asshole has just been elected to office. Yes. And we
And you have another comment here. Jose says, God bless you, Mama and Papa, and he sends musical notes for the piano and a keyboard.
Oh, thank you, and God bless the piano, yes. And people are very frustrated because they're not getting their needs met, and that becomes very painful too. Now, I want to go back to what you were talking about parents, because I want to get into some other things that are maybe a little bit less obvious. Maybe they aren't less obvious. So, let's say you have grown up in a family where there is one very angry parent.
Oh, and Kat sends us 3 different faces, one of which is frowning, one of which is eek, and another which is kind of spaced out.
Spaced out, or looks
Spaced out.
unhappy, grumpy to me. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing those negative feelings with us, Kat.
Right.
We really appreciate that. Seriously.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
let's say you grew up in a family where there was one person who was more negative than others, or at least more violent or more abusive. Now, I ask you, which of those parents seemed more powerful?
The negative one.
That's right. Why? Because everybody's walking on eggshells. It's like, oh, don't upset your father.
Or your
don't
mother.
upset your mother. Or don't upset your sister or brother or whatever it is. So you begin to get the idea. Grumpy is good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a whole different realm of, grumpy has its payoff. It's that
Yeah.
everybody's afraid of you and they have to tiptoe around you. So you say, hey, I had a mother who was sweet, let's say, or a father who was sweet, but the grumpy one, or the angry one, or the abusive one got their way. And so you say, I don't want to be the weak one, the beggar. I don't want to be under the domination of the one who's grumpy. I'm going to be grumpy instead. Yes, I'm going to terrorize everybody.
Got a comment from Kat. She says Grumpy gets all the attention.
You're exactly right, Kat. Exactly
There's
right.
a real payoff for being grumpy, being worried, being upset.
Yeah,
Real payoff.
upset too. Upset
Yeah.
gets the attention. It's like, ah, 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 oh, I'm so upset. No, I'm so upset. You're upsetting your mother. You're upsetting your father. You're upsetting whatever it is, the apple cart here. And everybody's got to be careful not to upset that person. And so, oh my God, yes, yes. So not only do you have all the attention, like Catalina is saying, you have all the power. So what do you want to do? Are you going to say, I want to be the powerless, happy one who has to kowtow the wishes of the one who is so grumpy and crummy and abusive? I'm afraid of getting yelled at, so I'm going to lay low or I'm going to get grumpy too because, I'm going to out-grump you. You're going to yell at me. I'm going to yell back. And we're going to compete with who is grumpier or who's more abusive or who has more power, right?
Yeah, and there's another payoff in being angry, which is you feel your power.
Yes, I'm going to get to
A
that.
temporary feeling.
I'm going to get
I
to
anticipated
that.
you.
You did.
Okay, carry on.
So I want you to think about that for a minute, what it actually felt like if you had a situation where you had a parent or a caretaker or a grandparent or a teacher or somebody who was powerful in the grumpy way and how scared everybody was of that person. And did you want to be the sweet one who doesn't have any power? Or did you want to be the one who seemed to call the shots? I know what my first instinct would be, right? Would be, I'm going to be like them. I'm going to be the dominant one. I want to dominate the situation. Now, you could be maybe super negative. You could be super smart, is the one who dominates the situation. Critical. Oh my God. Be critical. And everybody's scared of you. Oh God, what is mom going to say? My mother, all she had to do was give you the look. And you just crumbled. Right?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to get to a very big issue, which I think relates to what you're saying. But first, I want to give you a chance to think back on your life, on who had the attention, as Catalina said, or who had the power, and what did they do, and how did they get it, and did you want to be the one who was being dominated? Or did you want to be the one who dominated? So let's think about that for a minute as I play the piano. Okay, everybody thinking? And how bad that felt to be dominated by somebody who is negative and just pushed you around. Looks like we...
Oh, we have a comment from Todd. Nice to see you. Good question.
Thank you. Thank you. Some of us were actually hit or beaten
Yeah.
by that negative person. It's like, oh yeah, I want to be the one who's pushed and beaten. No, maybe not.
No.
Right? Okay. So now we're coming to, I think, closer to what you were bringing up. Do you know what happens to children? Oh,
I have another comment. Amy, surprisingly, sometimes I think I wanted to be the one who was being dominated so I could complain about
I
it.
love that.
Another chance to be negative.
Another chance. Oh, yeah, because victim is so
victimhood
negative.
is very, very popular.
Very good. Oh my God, victim is so positive. I mean, popular. And that's a very good point, Amy. There are so many ways of
This
being
happened to
negative.
me.
It
I'm a
did?
victim.
Oh, oh.
It's unfair.
In the hopes that you are going to ward off being dominated, you want to pull on everybody's heartstring.
Because if you're being negative, you're getting their attention.
That's right. So far we see that being negative can bring a lot of attention, and it can bring a lot of power, and it can keep people at bay. Like, oh, if I'm going to throw a temper tantrum, then nobody is going to criticize me because they're going to be afraid of me. Now, many of us have noticed something called the terrible twos, right?
Yeah.
And what happens in the terrible twos? You're saying, no, 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 no. And why are you saying no to everything? Because it makes you feel powerful. You can feel your power by opposing something.
Mm-hmm.
And we get angry when we feel dominated, so we want to figure out some way to not feel dominated. And so we've learned something. If we say no, and if we get crummy, then there is a kind of power in that, isn't there?
Oh, definitely.
So it's no, it's no, it's no, it's no. So now let's say somebody comes along and says, you know, this would be so helpful for you. It would really be wonderful if you tried this. And maybe you have grown up in a situation where you haven't outgrown being 2 years old. And you say, no, 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 I don't want to do it. I don't want to do yoga. I don't want to listen to that music. I don't want to do breathing. I don't want therapy. I don't want to have to change. I don't want to look at myself. No, 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 no. Now, let's look a little bit deeper into that. So you can say that being in the terrible twos, no, 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 is a normal part of growing up. You know, you're like feeling your oats, like, oh, I'm an independent being. I can think for myself. Thank you very much.
Yeah, as a 2-year-old, you got it. You got it wired.
You do.
You got great wisdom.
Oh, great wisdom.
You know the ways of the world.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You're wise, very wise. So, you know, it's the development of the ego. It's the part of us that defines us as we're, immature, and we say, oh, this is me. And me is based on no, 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 no. Because if I say yes, 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 then I'm not standing out from the crowd. I'm not opposing people. I am just nobody important. I am melting into the woodwork.
Perhaps there's a different kind of emotion you're going for. Instead of feeling powerful, you're feeling, what, connected or related.
Well, if you feel connected and related, you don't feel powerful anymore.
Mm.
Because, oh, you're such a sissy. You're listening to your mom. What is wrong with you, dude? Or that girl is telling you what to do. And, you're being pee whipped. You know what I mean? And maybe you just think she's right. But no, you can't say she's right because then what happened to your no and your power and your individuality? Do you understand what I mean?
Mm.
So you don't even experience yourself. Many, many years ago, I wrote a book where I talked about raging, R-A-G-I-N-G, and fearful. We experience ourselves as real because we're standing out. We're different, see? And aligned and harmonious. We fear we would lose ourselves in the oneness. Like, who's going to notice me? I won't stand out. I won't be important. I won't be powerful. I'll just be happy. Oh no! I can't just be happy. I have to be important. I have to be powerful. I don't want to be dominated. I don't want to look dominated. I don't want to look dominated in front of my friends. I don't want to go along with my parents because they're square. I don't want to go along with anything. I have to be in constant state of anger and protest in order to distinguish myself.
And isn't power a substitute for love? Aren't people the most controlling when they're feeling insecure and disconnected?
Absolutely. And how do we get back a feeling of power? Is by taking a stand, distinguishing ourselves, fighting back, being mean, being negative, all of those things.
Oh, here we have another comment. I can't read the name. I think it's in Arabic. Yes, it is. Hello, namaste. Im Rabbi Chamling Rai Ling Chung Mung Gapalika Chamlicha Nakrepa. And there's more.
Okay, why don't we see if
There's no translation indicated here. Maybe
we'll
because
get
it started in English.
Yeah.
Oh, from Kathmandu.
Hello, Kathmandu.
Watching
Welcome.
live. Watching live from
Wow,
Kathmandu.
that is really awesome.
That's tomorrow in your world.
Right. So, when we feel aligned and harmonious, we don't have these distinct edges.
Mm-hmm.
We are not distinct individuals. We are not different. It's like the kids who all of a sudden they start wearing their hats this way. Even though all their friends are wearing their hats this way, they feel like they're making a statement that they are individuals and they are not going along with whatever it is that they don't want to go along with, even if they don't even like wearing, or they don't want their pants falling down. I don't know if people are wearing their pants down at their knees anymore, but I get a little
I
behind.
see a lot of that.
So it's an act of rebel. It's rebellion. Rebellion. I am me. I am me. Well, see now, what is the cure for being negative as a way of being me? Think about that for a minute.
We're all ears.
Okay, I'm going to play the piano for a minute, and then I'm going to tell you. am I going to stand out if I am not negative, or I'm not rebelling, or I'm just like melting into the background? Well,
What do you think?
I have an idea.
You have an idea.
Yeah, I do. I have an idea. Let's say we got super positive about ourselves and started to believe that what we were offering had value,
Yeah, that we intrinsically have value. Yeah.
and that our contribution to the whole, to society, to our family, did not make us weak or dominated, made us powerful and whole.
Hmm.
Looks like we have a message.
We have another comment.
Yeah.
It says, Happy New Year to you, very esteemed lady and family. This is originally in Italian.
Oh, is it?
Yes, and this is from Galina.
Hello. Grazie. Grazie, Galina. Welcome. So, let's say we had a sense of power based on the value of our contribution to the whole,
Mm-hmm.
that we want to see the world a better place, that we want to see less pain, that we want to see more love, and that we offer that. Isn't it true? Isn't it true that you have been known to actually admire people who offer love and who help others? Haven't you ever had that experience that you see maybe it's not the same, maybe the person doesn't stand out, and maybe they actually even do stand out. But who cares about standing out? Why don't we see our value?
And also, if you have nothing to prove, wouldn't you feel more relaxed in life? And if you feel more relaxed, you can feel more content, more happiness.
And maybe you like feeling part of. You know, there is another part of us, just as it's perfectly normal to be a 2-year-old who wants to be, no, 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 no. Maybe it's also equally normal, if not more normal, to like to cuddle. You know, I have seen so many movies lately around Christmas or other stuff where people are happy and they're loving towards each other. And that tells us that even in this jaded era of trying to look tough, there's something in us that responds to the idea of being loving and being happy. And we see loving people happy, and maybe they're not standing out and looking powerful, but they're looking happy and they're looking like they are of value. Why don't we think about that, huh?
And those are people you want to be around because it makes you feel good.
Exactly.
It's a different kind of power. It's an attracting power.
Exactly. So let's start to emphasize the part of us that whose power is based on love and caring, and people will love that and move towards it and admire that. Wow, that's a different paradigm. Could that be? Yes, I believe so. So before we go tonight, because the show is coming to a close, I want to remind you that we broadcast Granny Rocks every single Wednesday night. I sit here and I play the piano and we talk, and hopefully we say something that is helpful. And look, I'm trying to be of value and of service, and maybe you actually like me because I am trying to be of value and of service, and you feel an attraction, and we have a lovely heart.
Yes, Nancy sends a big heart of love. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy. Proof positive that being positive can actually bring you power, can bring you satisfaction, and we can leave what I call the no universe and go into the yes universe, where we say yes to one another, and we say yes to where the universe wants us to go and what the universe wants us to do. I don't need to look powerful. I need to be happy.
And by the way, we also have a big hello from Blanquita. She says hello, Beth and James, and sends 3 flags from Ecuador.
Gracias, Blanquita.
Buenas noches.
Bienvenidos. So there it is. Don't forget to come back next Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific time for Granny Rocks.
And is there something happening Thursday?
Absolutely, which is tomorrow. I just play the piano, Beth Green's magical piano improvisations, and I try to bring positive energy to everybody. So that's 7 p.m. Pacific time on this very Facebook channel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for tonight, guys. On behalf of Sweet Baby James and myself, we thank you. We
Bye-bye
love you.
for now.
And we are going to try to support a different energy where we find ourselves in our oneness with others, in our connection to others, in love, that we find ourselves and we give up these childish notions that we need to be standing out or different or oppositional. And Blanquita sent us a rose.
Thank you,
Mil
Blanquita.
gracias. Mil gracias.
Okay.
Hasta
Thanks
luego.
for coming. It's been great having you and sharing with you.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
and please share this show with others if you think it might help them. Like it, love it, comment. I will respond to you later, and share.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.